Men's Royal Rumble time. That is what we're talking about today on the BunkaMania Pro Wrestling Podcast. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am the giraffe of me, Jeremy Graves, and joining me as per usual, of course, my partner in crime, my tag team partner, the man who, if he was part of the bloodline, he'd probably be my solo Sokoa. It is the Dekker, Dane, Mystery, and Bolton. Good sir, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. It's a rumble season. There's a rumbling in the air, and I'm very excited about it.
Indeed, it's one of those times of years where this really signifies we're on the start of the road to WrestleMania now. This is where we're at in the year, and it's always generally an exciting time. And of course, it begins officially, quote unquote, with the Royal Rumble. That is this weekend. Just for context, we are recording this on Tuesday, the 24th of January. Today, we are going to be discussing our picks for the men's Royal Rumble match, based on what we know has been officially announced, based on perhaps other things that have been allegedly reported, if there is anything, because I genuinely don't know. We're just going to talk about some picks that we're each going to have a bit of fun, maybe a bit of prognosticating. Let's see how good, bad, or indifferent we are. So, good sir, I'm going to defer to you first of all here. Where would you like to start, so to speak? Would you like me to go first? Did you want to go first with your pick? How would you like proceedings to begin? And do you want to give people perhaps a little rundown of how many picks total we're each going to have?
Of course, we're going to do 3 picks in total. So we're going to do one of who we think will actually win the Rumble. So it's basically, if we're following the booking trend of WWE at the moment, who is more likely going to claim that victory on Saturday? And then we're going to kind of like, if it's not that one, if we kind of had a choice of who we would like to see win the Rumble, that would be our second pick. And then because it's Rumble season, you get a few surprises, you get a few shocks and all that sort of stuff. We're gonna throw a wild card entry into proceedings as well. So just quickly running down who is currently in the men's Rumble, just for the benefit of our lovely listeners and our lovely viewers and all that sort of stuff. So we have Cody Rhodes is making his return. It is official. He is coming back at the Rumble. We got Kofi Kingston. We got Ricochet. We got Bobby Lashley. We got Seth freaking Rollins, Austin Theory, Gunter, Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, Omos, Braun Strowman, Baron Corbin, Santos Escobar, Rey Mysterio, and Karrion Kross. So I'm going to let you go first, and we'll start with pick number one, who we think is most likely winning the Rumble on Saturday.
Okay. Based on that announced lineup that you have said, I'm going to say the most likely to win is Cody Rhodes. I think the way the story sort of got derailed last year because of his ridiculous injury, there is part of me that just thinks there's a natural progression for a story here. Based on some reports that have gone about, it may seem that a certain electrifying person may not be involved in WrestleMania proceedings. And given that the Cody Rhodes story is really cool, there's arguably a far bigger and better story you could do right now. But there's part of me that just thinks as soon as I hear that music, that song by, it's called Kingdom, isn't it? By Downstate, that's the band name.
Yeah.
Part of me just thinks as soon as you hear that, let's just give me that feeling of, yeah, I'm well up for Cody winning. Let's do it. So I'm going with Cody Rhodes to be my pick of the announced field.
I think I'm going to have to join you with that. I think at the moment, on paper, and basically how the build's going to the Rumble, it can only be Cody's match. It really has to be Cody's match at this moment in time. I think when we move on to like our alternate picks and stuff like that, I think there are some things that we can discuss in terms of other things that are going on in WWE, especially like the Bloodline storyline. But no, I think all signs point to Cody being the last man standing. I think they'll probably finish up maybe the Seth Rollins feud in the Rumble because they did a similar thing when Edge won the Rumble. So obviously Edge came back. He had his Mania match during the PC era. He had his greatest match ever, Randy Orton. Got off injured for a couple of months, came back at the Rumble, quickly got rid of Randy at the last moment in the Rumble to win it. So I think rather than kind of maybe shoehorn another Cody Seth match, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but we've had 3 of them already, and I kind of feel like we need to see Cody challenge someone new, someone fresh. So yeah, I can see Cody finishing up with Rollins in the Rumble, and then maybe move on to Mania to hopefully face Roman. I mean, it's all it is all up in the air, and we'll talk about the perceived possible non-involvement of a certain electrifying one, probably in towards the tail end of the video, the speculation side of things. But no, I think if I had to place a bet on this, it's Cody. I can't see anyone else right now.
I will add, it'll be interesting to see, assuming they do the sort of the Rollins Cody confrontation during the match, which seems like almost has to happen. It'll be interesting to see how that comes off, given now that Rollins is just an outright babyface. Is he going to be like just a really cocky heel and go, sorry, or type thing?
I think Seth will probably go. It's like, I've got a little bit overzealous. I'm sorry. Let's fight again. And then Cody probably eliminates Seth from the Rumble. I mean, if Cody's not winning, then Seth's eliminating Cody, or they both eliminate each other, which would be very silly and very annoying, but could possibly happen as well. It's the Rumble. You kind of think you know which direction you're going, and then it all goes horribly wrong. But no, I mean, considering Cody's beaten Seth 3 times in the singles competition, I don't think that record's going to change.
I also now have this vision that wherever Seth comes in the Rumble, the crowd are just going to sing his song throughout.
They're going to. They love a good sing song. So we've gone with our pick of who we think will win it. So let's push the boat out a little bit. So who from the field that have already announced, or even those who have yet to announce but are currently with WWE, is there anyone on the roster other than Cody Rhodes who you think should win the Royal Rumble?
I'm just going to call the elephant in the room Sami Zayn. given the way that everything happened during the trial of Sami Zayn on Raw, which if you haven't seen it, go out of your way to watch the segment. Point of reference, folks, like the entire segment's been uploaded by BT Sport on their YouTube channel, so just go and watch it. It's freaking great. No pun intended for Seth Rollins, by the way. But I think Sami Zayn, given the way that segment left off, where clearly Sami is going to be getting involved in that Kevin Owens Roman Reigns title match in some capacity. There's part of me that just thinks whatever happens in that, he will then be like a surprise entrant, maybe towards the second third of the Rumble. And then maybe like there'll just suddenly be other Usos or whatever, depending what happens, or there'll be other bloodline related people coming out to try and stop him from winning. Like that might be the interesting dynamic of this, or helping him win, one or the other. But I think Sami Zayn is a very strong pick, should he be in the match, to be winning the Rumble.
Yeah. Again, I think we're kind of aligned here. I think if it's not Cody, then it must be Sami. In a way, Sami, or heck, it could even be Kevin Owens. You never know; they might still keep the Kevin Owens story going on and try and really. It's very funny that we're coming up to Mania season, and the two biggest stars we were talking about coming out of Mania last year was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, and obviously the fact that they had big main event level matches, which really kind of got a lot of praise and a lot of people really talking about it. Sure, it was Sami versus Johnny Knoxville, but the match was just too damn fun, and even the build to it was very fun. You got Kevin versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Again, a fun build, a great payoff, and that sort of stuff. And the fact that we could go right into the next Mania, where they are still kind of in that sort of big sort of audience focus of being some of the most popular baby faces or characters on the roster, I think it would be silly to kind of just try and kind of shoehorn it away from the bloodline stories. So I'm with you. I think Sami, depending on what the final trial or the final test at the Royal Rumble is going to be, it might be, hey, we want you to really put Kevin Owens on the shelf, and Sami goes no and gets the Samoan spike for his troubles from Solo, or maybe Roman says, I want you to win the Rumble so no one faces me at Mania. But then Sami goes, well, I kind of want to face you at Mania. It's like, if I can beat 29 other men, that must mean that I must be able to win a championship. And it all goes horribly wrong. I mean, the current reports are Sami is challenging possibly at Elimination Chamber in Canada. So if the trigger is being pulled on the turn against Sami from the Bloodline, it's happening at the Rumble, or it's happening on the Raw after the Rumble, or maybe the SmackDown. It's just like, I think once it's like we're very close to that trigger being pulled now. It's exciting. It's going to be heartbreaking. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be enthralling. and hopefully WWE realize what they have in front of them and actually book it through to a satisfactory ending. And I feel that's a little bit optimistic at the moment. I mean, obviously, things around in the company probably don't put people in the most optimistic moods, but the booking still hasn't been overtly affected since the start of the year. Knock on wood, cross your fingers, all that sort of stuff. Hopefully, that continues all the way through to Mania and beyond. We'll have to see. But yeah, if it's not Cody, I think Sammy. I think Dark Horse as well, possibly Owens. So we've done the logical winner. We've done our sort of alternative, sort of preferred winner. Now let's go into the random, wild speculation. Shall we talk about Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson?
Sure, why not?
So, I mean, there's quite a few hints at the moment going around that good old Dwayne is going to possibly at the Rumble. I mean, you look at the poster, you see there's electricity in the air, and everyone's looking to the sky. Feels like, oh no, someone's gonna come down and lay off the smack of down. There's also quite a bit of new merch for The Rock dropping on WWE Shop, all this sort of stuff. And then over the last couple of days, there have been reports. I think it was Dave Meltzer who broke the story. Was kind of saying, or kind of got the information of the Rock wasn't able to confirm if he was able to commit to a match because he's not in the right shape for the match. Now, I like to well, let's not beat around the bush here. I mean, you look at The Rock, you look at one of Hollywood's biggest stars at the moment. He does Hollywood. He runs the XFL. He runs Tequila. He has a sports energy drink. All this sort of stuff, and he's still in great shape. So when I hear that story of oh yeah, Rock might not be in shape for the Rumble, it's like or for Mania, it's like, are you kidding me? It's kind of like you just want to double take and just go, come again? What? And I just find it funny. I find it really funny because around this time of year, people start kind of get the false stories come out, the fake news stories come out to kind of throw people off the scent of, oh, maybe they might not come back, maybe they will come back, all that sort of stuff. But quite frankly, here, I think someone's lying. If The Rock's at Mania or not, it's not the end of the world. I would love to see him there. I think it'll be amazing for that match to actually happen for Roman Reigns. But until The Rock appears, it's nothing more than a pipe dream at the moment for fans. And it's like, I think if we're not doing it this Mania, I think the moment's gone. I think it's not going to happen. And I'm okay with that because there are other stories to be told. We've got the Sami Zayn story. We've got all that. But it's just, when that story broke, I just couldn't help but just laugh out loud and just go, I'm sorry. I don't get this. It's like he pumps iron every day at the gym. He works hard. He plays hard, all that sort of stuff. And it's like, you're not in ring shape for this. I don't know. That's just me. What do you think, Jeremy?
I do agree to a point, first of all, but I will say that having done some wrestling training before, being in what's called ring shape is vastly different to just being in shape, quote unquote. Because there's a heck of a lot of, is it anaerobic or aerobic exercises? The one that involves you needing to be explosive at any kind of given moment that your body can just adjust to it and get adjusted to different heart rates and stuff. It's a very explosive type of cardio. It's not just you're constantly running, for example. It's very different. You've got to exert lots of strength and energy as you go along in different ways, shapes, or forms. But let's also not forget that the last match that The Rock had in a WWE ring, he legitimately injured himself pretty badly, or got multiple injuries to the point where I think it was it his Hercules film or something like that? I don't remember.
Yeah,
There was
Hercules.
where the production that had to get pushed back by like 2 or 3 months, I think, because of the injuries he got in the match. So there is probably also an element from an insurance point of view of, if he genuinely feels comfortable with where he is at to be able to do a match, it's kind of probably that thing that he just knows his own body at this point. So if that is true, I can understand it to a point. I do think the way that this, again, assuming the news is true, news has come out, hasn't exactly helped, if that makes sense. Because conceivably, you could just announce him as being like a guest host for WrestleMania in Hollywood. So at least then he's going to be there, and it can kind of be a similar thing to the Stone Cold Steve Austin thing from WrestleMania last year, whereby you kind of knew something was going to happen, be it just a brawl or a match, best case scenario. But then at least you're not promising either or. You just know he's going to be there and there will be a confrontation sort of thing. But having been a guest host again in Hollywood, to me, that in a way would probably make the most sense at this point.
No, it's a good observation. It's a good point. As like I say, I know I was reading too much into like all this story. Clearly, it's fake. It's basically from what we see of The Rock in terms of his social media and stuff like that, and obviously the fact he's still doing like action films. He's just filmed a Christmas action film for Amazon with J.K. Simmons and I think Chris Evans as well. Where I think he's looking after Santa Claus like a bodyguard or something. I don't know.
Of course he is.
And it's like obviously if he's doing all those sort of films, he's keeping in shape and stuff like that. So it's kind of a two-level thing. It's like you from just a standard point of view, if you told someone The Rock wasn't fit and you just go, what? I think you're talking bollocks. But obviously understanding from the wrestling side of points, obviously being able to handle like the explosiveness of sudden movements, the cardio, it's like I get that. I totally do. So if that's not to be, that's not to be. And like I said, if Rock Roman doesn't happen, I'm okay with it. I think it's a missed opportunity, but you know what? Like I said, there are plenty of other storylines in the sea in cross WWE right now that could probably very comfortably take that main event slot, and that'll be absolutely fine.
If I may throw another interesting question then into the mix on that, when it comes to The
Okay.
Rock specifically, because we've talked about, it would almost be a missed opportunity. I've said, either or could he just be a host and not promising anything. In the grand scheme of things right now, where WWE is at, in your opinion, I'll give sort of my answer on it as well. Does WrestleMania, as things stand right now, actually need The Rock?
I don't think it does. I think at the moment, the quality of the product is being significantly better, and I think that has attributed to a lot more ticket sales. Obviously, I think Mania is selling very well. If not, it's almost sold out. I might be wrong there. But the fact of the matter is, I think fans are excited for WrestleMania Goes to Hollywood. I think the moment Triple H took over creative and people and kind of going, okay, we've got a sense of where we know we're going. It's like storylines haven't totally deviated badly since he's taken over creative. They've just kept going and they've been kind of sensible with the plotting. Okay, you look at things like the Bray Wyatt LA Knight stuff and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, it might not necessarily be always tip top. And it's like, yeah, I like the Bray LA Knight stuff at the moment, but it's like it's kind of, I hope it's over and done with when we get to the Royal Rumble. But going back to Mania, I think there are some good storylines there that can populate the two nights. I mean, we've still got things like Ray and Dominic going on. Obviously, I think by we get to time to Mania, Usos are going to be losing their tag belts. They're now kind of split them out a bit, so it's kind of like who's going to take them and all that sort of stuff. I think to a point, considering John Cena's appearing as the cover star of WWE 2K23, Cena's appearing, it's most likely it's going to be him and Theory, or maybe him and Logan Paul. Either one should be fun. Yeah, we've got Bobby Brock again happening as well after Raw is 30 last night. So I think there is still quite a lot of good possible matchups you can take from the current roster. And I think you don't need to worry too much about putting all your eggs in the basket of The Rock. I mean, it just feels like a match made in heaven. It's like the biggest star in Hollywood now, main event on the biggest wrestling event of the year, all that sort of stuff. It screams box office. But if it just doesn't happen because of commitments and so on, it just doesn't happen. And it's like, we move on. I mean, I think Cena's Hollywood stock has got up dramatically over the last couple of years. I think not to a similar level as, say, The Rock, but I think the quality of Cena's output has been considerably stronger as well. So again, even bringing John Cena doing some Peacemaker stuff, all that sort of stuff, I still think is going to be a lot more noticeable than that. And plus, with Hollywood, you can reach out to your Hollywood WWE fans. You never know. You could convince Hugh Jackman, former Raw guest host, to come back and do something, especially if he's getting into Wolverine shape, all that sort of stuff. I mean, there are other opportunities to get Hollywood involved, and they don't all need to have The Rock, and that's absolutely fine.
Yep, you took the words out of my mouth when it came to John Cena, because that was going to be another name I was going to pick as something that's not been announced. Like, what if hypothetically Cena just shows up and he's in the Rumble? But to kind of play on something that you said, I think that could be the setup for there being a match with Austin Theory at WrestleMania. Maybe whereby Austin Theory either gets eliminated by him or he eliminates Cena or something, and he starts just going, "You can't see me, can you, Cena?"
I think in terms of brand promotion, especially when it comes to the next game, it makes sense, even if it becomes a really quick squash match. It's like, I would be shocked if Cena's not at this one, at this rate now. And bring in DC, bring James Gunn, bring all the Suicide Squad, bring Sly Stallone dressed up as King Shark. I'm sure I'll have a whale of a time. Be fun.
Heck, you know what? You know what? Let's make things really awkward. But let's have Black Adam be there. You know what?
Don't encourage the hierarchy of change.
Okay, I'll call it now. Imagine this: if neither Rock or Cena are wrestling on the show, I look forward to the really awkward backstage segment where we have Black Adam meeting Peacemaker.
And then James Gunn just goes, "No, guys, no, I'm keeping Peacemaker. Black Adam. On you go." Oh God, that would be so awkward.
Wouldn't it?
It's like James Gunn just comes out of the VIP lounge, and one side here comes Black Adam just going, "Why are you getting rid of me from DC movies?" And James Gunn's going, I'm only doing what's best." And then Peacemaker comes in and they stop. See, that's it. That's an even better storyline than having to sort out the Universal Championship, Jeremy. I think that's better.
The dream match, everyone. The dream match we've already seen twice, Rock and John Cena, like you've never seen it before.
Just in DC costumes. and people losing their little tiny minds. We've discussed Dwayne. Let's talk about any other plausible surprises or reappearances. I mean, in terms of wrestlers who are technically free agents, I mentioned the name a couple of episodes back. Nick Aldis is a free agent. It's like, even for a cameo appearance, could show up. I mean, heck, if you're not going to put Cody, if it's not going to be Cody Roman, Cody Aldis. There you go.
Hey, they had a great match at All In.
Yeah, so it's like, again, you've got a nice way to keep the Cody story going. You're bringing in someone new like Aldis and so forth, and I think that would be fun. I mean, there is talk of Matt Cardona coming back, coming in maybe as Matt Cardona, not Zack Ryder, which I think would be quite cool as well. And I think coming back as Matt Cardona will probably mean there are bigger, not say bigger, uber bigger things, but I think there'll be a lot more serious things in store for him than just being a comedy act again. Or just
think if he were to come in as Matt Cardona specifically, I think, what's the way to phrase it so this comes across well? In terms of the stock value of the persona of Matt Cardona versus Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona means far more at this point, because chances are there will be a whole bunch of casual WWE fans who will at least be aware of Matt Cardona being really into wrestling figures. And so that will be a crossover element. Heck, he'll probably have a new action figure out from WWE available the day of on the shop. The moment he walks out on the shop, there's a new figure of him.
Yeah, absolutely. So it seems like a no-brainer, but it's not a I don't think it's a done deal. I don't know if he's available right now, but if he turns up at the Rumble, it'll be great. Be great. Also, there's also potential favors WWE can call in for other companies, because they have been a little bit more generous per se. I mean, we've had Great Muta versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Great Muta could turn up.
Oh, no. It's funny you mention that, because earlier today, I actually finally got around to watching the retirement match of the Great Muta from this past weekend that happened in Japan at the Yokohama Arena. And let's just say, were that on the cards, I don't think that's going to happen, because I think Muta did his hamstring him. And Keiji Muto is main eventing the Tokyo Dome in under a month. So, and based on how that sort of, also just the fact that Muta has now the Great Muta, if you will, has now retired. The entire show was called Great Muta Final Bye Bye. So, it's like, he's done. It would be really cool if Muta were to show up. I genuinely don't think that's going to happen, though, partly because he has now retired to the depths of hell, but also because he clearly did his hamstring him.
Again, it's like, it's a crazy what if, isn't it? It's a crazy what if.
The fact that there was the match recently with Shinsuke Nakamura and the Great Muta, which if you haven't seen it, go out of your way to watch it on Wrestle Universe. It's actually worth watching just for a spectacle alone. It's really worth it. It wouldn't have surprised me if maybe there had been a quid pro quo arrangement to have said, okay, we'll let him come there for the special thing. How about you be in the Rumble for a minute? Hypothetically, if that were on the cards, it wouldn't have surprised me. But again, based on what I saw and the fact he did just team with Sting and Darby Allin, two very prominent AEW talents, maybe not.
That's fair. We'll have to see. That's the nice thing with not knowing half the field at the moment, is there could be some genuine surprises coming, which would be lovely to see.
So, in terms of surprises, then, okay. So,
yeah,
this is it's not someone that's been announced at the time we're recording this, and I don't know if it will be come the time. I'm gonna throw into the mix, just to really worry people, Brock Lesnar.
I'm not too concerned or scared about that. I mean, you've got Bobby Lashley. I think if anything, Brock's in the Rumble to deal with Lashley, and they both eliminate each other.
I think we're going to get some kind of interaction in there between the two of them, but what if they did tease the main event of Mania again would be Lesnar and Brock Lesnar? Roman and Brock Lesnar. Imagine it. I've got one more pick for you as to who could make a surprise appearance. Now, I haven't actually researched into if this is feasibly possible. I'm not implying that they're dead or anything. Like, I'm being realistic here. So, what if Stone Cold Steve Austin came back into the Rumble, won it, went to Mania to challenge Roman? Or, hypothetically, if Kevin Owens was champion, Austin's got a legitimate claim to say, I beat you last year in the main event of WrestleMania. I think I deserve a title match.
I mean, I think if Stone Cold does turn up in the Rumble, I think it will be quite a nice surprise. And I think, considering last year, I think if the booking and the story is good to Austin, I think he will do it to a degree. And people will look after him. It's like he doesn't have to do crazy bumps or stuff like that. Just comes in, does some stomping, does some stunners, throws a few people out, and then maybe a wicked heel, an evil heel, a dickish heel, like a Karrion Kross or something like that, or even Austin Theory just throws. I mean, Austin Theory gets his revenge for last year and just throws Austin out or something like that.
The Battle of Austin.
Yeah, the Battle of the Austins. Which Austin is better? I mean, clearly it's Stone Cold. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't rule out a Stone Cold appearance this weekend. I really wouldn't. It'll be cool. I can't see him winning, but it'll be cool. I guess we'll probably see a surprise or two from NXT. It depends. It depends where we're going with some of the NXT stars. I mean, we've got Vengeance Day. I think a couple of weeks straight after Rumble. I think maybe a week after the Rumble. So don't expect to see people like Braun Breaker or Grayson Waller or something like that. Maybe Carmelo Hayes. That'd be nice to see. Carmelo Hayes coming into the main roster will be quite good fun. Heck, even bring out Tyler Bate for a little bit with Gunter before Tyler Bate has a cameo appearance ended. Something like that. I don't know, but it's like I think it'll be nice to see one or two NXT stars appear, but we shall see.
Let's get some Axiom and Ricochet crossover. Let's have those two go at it for a minute or two in the ring. Well, on that note, folks, thank you very much for watching this edition of the BunkaMania Pro Wrestling Podcast. Stay tuned for later in the week because we'll be back talking the women's side of things when it comes to the Royal Rumble match. Good sir, if people want to get in touch, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, they can throw an email over the top rope to bunkamania@bunkazilla.co.uk. Who's going to win the Rumble? What are your thoughts on the Rumble itself after the show? We would love to hear your thoughts. We'll be doing a proper show review as a good old-fashioned live stream a couple of days after the event.
Indeed, of course, you can post in the comments below as well. Let us know what you think. Who out of us is going to be a wonderful prognosticator? Who is going to come across as the utter fool? Probably me, but, play along, folks. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching once again. From myself, the Giraffe, and me, Jeremy Graves. From him, the Dekker, Dane, Mr. Ian Bolton. Until next time, speak to you soon.